Tonight, is government about to replace all striking lecturers of the colleges of education? Fresh controversy erupts in a standoff between the striking teachers and government as tertiary education announced it will recruit 2,500 new teachers as GTEC strike enters day 70.
What we are saying is that we will not be perturbed by those intimidations. GTEC should just go ahead and do the right thing. If they have the financial muscle to be able to recruit new lecturers to that amount, why don't they pay us?
We'll bring you more details as the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission directs that colleges of education not to close down the colleges with just 3 weeks to end of the term. Top story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Well, tonight, is government about to replace all striking lecturers of the College of Education? The big question that has triggered the eruption of fresh controversy in the standoff between the striking teachers of the College of Education and government. Striking lecturers are questioning the decision by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to recruit 2,500 new teachers while it struggles to resolve its concerns. The industrial action by the teachers has entered day 70 amid difficult negotiations following government's inability to meet their demands for improved conditions of service. The commission has a statement out tonight announcing the recruitment. My colleague Latif Idris joins me in studio with details. Latif, what is contained in the statement?
Yeah, so this statement is dated 16th August 2024, and it has the heading Update on GTEC Strike Concerns and Colleges of Education Closure. The attention of GTEC has been drawn to numerous requests on the need for the closure of the 46 colleges of education in lieu of impending strike by the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, GTEC. The Commission, as of today, 16th August 2024, has not reached such a conclusion. Neither has it been directed by the Honorable Minister of Education to do same. As a result, all of the 46 colleges of education should stay open until further notice. Again, as you are aware, the Commission has migrated 20 institutions as of today and hopes to complete all 46 before the end of the month. In addition, the top-up of the research allowance has been paid to 44 colleges of education, except McCoy and Dambai, who have some technical issues to be resolved. Additionally, the all-year-round payment, which is also an issue of contention, has been initiated on Ghana Integrate Financial Management Information System to enable the Ministry of Finance to issue the release letter and specific warrant for payment to be effected as soon as possible. The statement goes on to say that regarding payment of salaries for August, the Commission will communicate directives on the subject once same has been received from the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Yaosei Educhum. In the meantime, the Commission is in serious talks with the Honorable Minister of Education for financial clearance to be granted to GTEC to recruit some 2,500 teaching staff to augment the current load for academic work to commence as quickly as possible while we work with GTEC to resolve their concerns. GTEC will communicate to you the modalities with which this urgent staff recruitment will be expedited as soon as the clearance is provided, I am counting on your usual cooperation, and this is signed by Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi, Acting Director General.
Well, and reactions are trickling in over this particular decision by GTEC, and President of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, Razak Swale, questioned the timing of GTEC to employ teachers at the height of an industrial action by CTAG.
Where we have reached, we were feeling that the government, through GTEC and then other stakeholders, were really involved and then were really demanding for solutions or getting the demands of our teachers resolved. But we are now reconsidering that, because this letter that is before you also indicates that GTEC is currently seeking financial clearance from the Minister of Education for him to recruit 2,500 teachers.
Yes.
So if there is funds to be able to cater for these 2,500, then why not use it to help our teachers so that we have our teachers back to the classroom? Because even in July, when our teachers were still on strike, the same GTEC directed that salaries to our teachers should not be paid. And it really didn't help the situation. That aggravated for CETA to further take all that 100% profit from the country.
Now, spokesperson for CETA, Dr. Dominic Owusu, says government's priority should rather be directed to paying them instead of recruiting new teachers.
It's so laughable. You know, the first question any layman who understands this issue asks is that if GTEC, who is our regulator, has the financial strength to pay experienced teachers, most of them being doctors, MPhil holders, who have taught in the college some 10 years, 15, 20 years, and who have genuine labor issues, who have genuine concerns, welfare issues, which should be addressed, and a competent court of jurisdiction sponsored by well-versed lawyers of the NLC ruling in our favor, and just implement the NLC award, which says that put these lecturers, based on their qualifications, in line with their counterparts in the universities, because they all have the same qualification and they are all running the same BEd curriculum, and then they all have the requisite manpower and experiences. Then you say that you are now seeking for financial clearance to lay them off and go for new lecturers who will now have to go through a lot of training, mentorship, and meddling and training before they become qualified. No, we are not experimenting. The education in Ghana should not be toyed with. My brother, let me say this as a point in reference. This was how the Kenya incident started, and it got out of hand. People who are in the helms of affairs, who should exercise emotional intelligence when there are issues, feel that because they wield power and because they are in power, they could do anything. And it got to a time that the youth and workers could not contain it anymore, and it escalated where they had to go to Parliament and cause chaos. We are law-abiding, and what we are saying is that we will not be perturbed by those intimidations. GTEC should just go ahead and do the right thing. If they have the financial muscle to be able to recruit new lecturers to that amount, why don't they pay us?
This is still the top story. Let me bring in the spokesperson for the CTAG, Dr. Dominic Owusu, into this conversation. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Now, tonight you're hearing from GTEC that, in fact, a lot of things are being done by government. Now, they say that, for example, they've migrated 20 institutions as of today and hope to complete all 46 before the end of the month. Again, they say that the top-up of the research allowance has been paid to 44 colleges of education, except McCoy and Dambai, who have some technical issues to be resolved. Additionally, all year-round payment, which is also an issue of contention, has been fed into the gift mix to enable the Ministry of Finance to issue the release letter and specific warrant for payment to be effected as soon as possible. If government is doing this, why aren't you also trying to meet them halfway?
Oh, good evening to your cherished listeners. We want to say that we are calm, we are relaxed, and we are resolute because we have embarked on a very legitimate strike. Now, the issue that you outlined in the letter coming from the GTEC Professor Jinapo, they are just peripheral issues that are not the main. For instance, the 1,000 Ghana cedis that has been paid were research top-up, which were to be given to us in 2002, which is not part of the NLC Arbitra Awards.
2002,
so
you say?
They are just peripheral issues. And talk about the all-year-round compensation. As we speak now, it's been 20 months, and per the NLC ruling, we're supposed to collect 3,200. So imagine somebody working the whole 2022 without holiday, without rest, and a competent court of jurisdiction says that pay the person 1 month's salary, and you have dragged that for about 20 months. And because of some of these decisions, we have some of our members who unfortunately have lost their lives. Some too are on critical condition, experiencing depression, among others. So what we are saying is that the right things must be done. And the major thing that we are looking for is the implementation of the arbitra. We insist the implementation of the arbitra award, and then also the use of the right nomenclature that correspond with our counterparts in our affiliate university. For instance, where I am, I have all my qualifications, just like my counterparts in the university. And as a doctor, you cannot make me a tutor. A tutor is somebody who teaches selected number of students in a private engagement. And all over the world, that nomenclature or ranking system is not recognized. So what we are saying is that we want them to do the main, that is the migration. And what we are not in fact doing migration, they are only doing mapping. So there is suspicion because each time we call off our strike, it gives them some kind of relaxation to be able to go back.
Now you said they are doing. You said they are doing mapping. What exactly is mapping? Because they say in this letter that they are migrating people.
The life of the college lecturer also matter, and we also deserve the best. And I want to be emphatic that.
Well, Dr. Usu, I'm asking you that when you say they are only doing mapping, what exactly do you mean? Because GTEC, Dr. Usu, are you listening to me, Doc? Hello, Dr. Usu.
And you see duty bearers paying so much attention to it, and these issues are dragged. So CTAC is saying that if they prioritize our issues, then urgency and expedition of actions will come in, and by now would have called off the strike and go back to teach our students. We are emphasizing that.
All right, Doc. I want to find out from you, if you can hear me, what is the difference between what you call mapping? Okay, all right. I think he cannot hear me. Let me bring in Dr. Clement Park, who is Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament Education Committee. Doc, grateful to you for joining. Now, GTEC today has explained what they are doing to resolve the impasse between, CTAG and government. Should this be enough for CTAG to call off their strike and return to the classrooms because we've entered the 70th day of this action?
Well, let me say good evening to you and to our listeners and viewers. We are not in a position to make any decision or to determine whether or not what government is doing is sufficient for CTAG and its members to consider as a basis of calling off their strike. Quite honestly, as a nation, we should be sick and tired of government's inertia towards resolving this matter. The Minister for Education, and for that matter, government, must be blamed squarely for what is going on. This issue is a very straightforward matter that ought to have been resolved if only government was serious in addressing it. Look, this strike started last year. We intervened as Parliament. CTAC listened to us, listened to other well-meaning Ghanaians, called off the strike. Government went to sleep, waited for a whole year to pass without taking action in lieu of the arbitration award that was granted CTAC. CTAC went on strike again. As Parliament, and myself in particular, we took up the issue. We brought the Minister for Education and the Minister for Labour Relations to Parliament to address a committee of the whole. The Speaker then directed that our committee meets with CTAC, the Minister for Education, the Minister for Finance, as well as GTEC. On the day that we had planned to meet all of these groups, we got information that the minister had passed our blind side to invite these same institutions and organizations for a meeting. We were then told that a monitoring committee had been put together and that the issue was going to be resolved. So why is it that it is taking this long? And now we hear what clearly is a subtle threat from GTEC, indicating that it is seeking clearance to employ some 2,500 lecturers to teach at the colleges of education. I mean, this is not the way to go, because the issue has prolonged as a result of the lack of trust. CTAD and its members have come to the conclusion that government is not being truthful and forthright, because government has failed to meet timelines that it gave itself. So rather than trying to persuade, cajole, and perhaps even beg CTAC, you try to flex your muscles, and Ghanaians and our wards are suffering. I think that this move is a very bad move. It ought to be withdrawn. Government must marshal the needed resources to meet its obligation to the teachers and let them go back and teach. It's as simple as that.
Doc, the thing here is they say to augment the current load for academic work. It doesn't say they're going to push CTAG away. They want to augment it. Isn't it right if government wants to add on more teachers so they could deal with the hours they've lost through the strike?
Have you not seen the letter where it says, while still engaging CTAG towards a resolution? What does that tell you? Now, these new lecturers that they are going to employ, does it mean that they are going to prevent them from becoming members of CTAG? Or you don't understand the import of what is going on? No. So, and that is the issue. So look, we are not children. They know they can read between the lines. They understand. Yeah, I understand you. I get you, Doc. But government says, I mean, as they try to get CTAG back, we have all said that the students have lost several hours. Today is 70 days since they started. And the kids are even, the teachers, the teacher trainees have been calling for the schools to close down. Government says, I won't, but instead, I would want to employ some 2,500 people to augment the current load for academic work to commence. That's not something that we should probably look at once we resolve the issue with CTAG. It's a misplaced priority. First of all, I am a member of Parliament. Okay. I know that we passed the 2024 budget. We have also seen the Minister for Finance come with the media review budget. There are no estimations or allocations to cater for the recruitment of some 2,500 lecturers. This cannot happen within the next 2 to 3 months. I can tell you that on authority. I am a lecturer. I've gone through the processes of being recruited before. The process itself of recruiting lecturers is not something that you can do within 2 weeks or even a month. Clearly, it is not feasible. If the intent is to plug the hole whilst trying to address this impasse, then I think that within the time frame, it is not going to solve the problem. In any case, the semester is coming to an end early next month. What government should be focused on is to do the needful. Do what the law says you should do as granted to CTAC by the arbitration that they won. How is this so difficult to do? I just don't understand.
But government,
I don't understand what is going on at all.
But government says it has started doing some. It says that, the top-up of research allowances has been paid to 44 colleges of education, except 2.
But you have heard the members of CETA. They are not children. These are adults. They are researchers. They are academics.
Okay.
They know they are left from their right. And that is why it is important that we all acknowledge that they cannot be pushed around. They know their rights. And so rather than all of these gimmicks and subtle threats, government should bite the bullet and do the needful so that we can have peace. It is getting out of hand and government must be blamed. The Minister of Education has failed in this regard. It ought to be said. Where is the minister himself in all of this?
What would Parliament do? You've said here clearly that you haven't seen any data or any information that is seeking for funding to employ some 2,500 people. And this strike is also biting hard. Students are on campus without learning. What will your committee and the House do to get the government to address the issue?
Well, we have done our part. We will continue to advocate. Parliament is on recess. We know that some students who we believe are part of the leadership of the teacher trainees have petitioned the Speaker. We expect that the Speaker will probably refer the petition to the Education Committee. The Speaker clearly will then decide the course of action that Parliament will take. But the leadership of the Education Committee, we have been having a conversation amongst ourselves to see how best we can intervene. But we believe that we no longer even have the moral right to try and beg CETA, because we did it last year. And government ought to have taken advantage of that to resolve this matter rather than wait for a year on for us to be where we are. Look, Ghanaians ought to call government out. This problem is entirely caused by government's own inertia, its failure to deal with this matter in a very expeditious way. The only entity that can bring this issue to arrest is government. Nobody, not even Parliament.
Grateful to you, Doc. Let me bring in Professor Francis Nunu, who is Deputy Director General at GTEC. Prof, thanks for joining. Now, if you look at the arbitration awards, it says A, an order for the payment of 1 month salary to each entitled member of CTAG as compensation for additional duty performed in 2022. B, an order that the agreed rate of allowances payable to public universities be applied to deserving members of CTAG. C, an order that the implementation of the completed staff audit exercise shall commence from 1st January 2023. Amongst the three, which of them have you begun, to do? We've read your letter, yes, but which amongst these three have you started implementing?
Thank you so much. The letter spells it out clearly, but one, the book and research allowance have been paid to them. That is the top-up allowance have been paid to them. Yes. Two, the top-up allowance have been paid to them. Two, the all year round, we asked for, they brought it and there were some problems with the data, so it had to be returned. But finally, payment has been done in the gift mix, and it will hit the account of hopefully accounts of the colleges by early next week. So the other thing that is left is the migration, and as of today, we've done migration so that they will be at par with the universities. We've done more than 20 of them as of today, so it's left with about 26. And we're hoping that in 2 weeks that will be finished. So that's only outstanding, I would say.
So let's take the mic.
Process. It doesn't happen in 1 day. And the committee has been working for the past 2 weeks since 29 July on their feet, morning, afternoon, evening.
Prof, let's take the migration now. The CTAG members say what you're doing is mapping. and that if you say someone is a senior tutor, it is not same as someone is a senior lecturer in the university. What exactly are you doing?
We are doing migration. We have to migrate them onto a salary. We have a single spine salary network, and so the Fair Wages and Salary Commission, together with all other equity stakeholders, Ministry of Finance, Controller, Accountant General, Ministry of Education, have been meeting since 29 July to try and see their qualifications. The colleges of education are affiliated to various universities. So we have to map them according to the scheme of service of the affiliated universities. So we started with UCC, we are finished. We followed up with UG, we are finished.
But how are you classifying these tutors? Are you classifying them as lecturers or tutors?
No, we are not classifying them as lecturers. There's a governing act, the Colleges of Education Act, and that's what we have to obey and follow. The act calls them tutors and uses the word tutors. So we can't think that there's an amendment in the act. So basically, they will be mapped and in such a way that you have equivalent salary to the lecturer, subject to the other conditions of service. Because in the university, if you are a lecturer, you should have a certain number of publications, and you should have worked for a certain number of years before you move to the next level. So if they want to be treated as lecturers by the universities, then like the universities, then they have to do publications and all the necessary levels of publications and year of service before.
But
we are just mapping them on the salary scale for now. The other things, we take them later.
Okay. Now, they contest you on that. But if you say you are going to employ 2,500 teachers, where are you getting money to do that?
That's why we are seeking clearance. We are going to seek clearance through our ministry for it. If they give us clearance, that is good, because they themselves complain of excess workload. And that's what led to they working all year round, no rest. So because of the workload, they have to work hard all year round, which is not good for their health. So we want to spread the workload around so that at least the workload is reduced. And that's exactly what we plan to do.
Well, but if you could seek for clearance to employ more, and they are also saying that, I mean, an order for the payment of 1 month's salary to each entitled CTEC member, that I haven't heard you say, but you're looking for money to employ more people. If you have that avenue,
one we are doing, we are working on it. It's in the dismiss.
Well,
look at the letter.
I've seen it, but they are denying what you're doing. I'm saying that if you're looking for money to employ more people, why don't you rather satisfy the people you have currently? Let them satisfy what their demands, and then you can probably look at the other things.
We are almost done satisfying them. Look at the letter; it gives the details. All the 3 issues, we are almost done satisfying them.
But
look at the letter.
What is the gap in teaching at the College of Education?
What is
the gap in teachers at the colleges of education?
Yeah, we recently did a staff audit, and the gap in teaching, goes beyond the 2005 even that we are asking for. But we want to at least meet them somehow so that their workload will be reduced. So it's as a result of the audit that was done together with the principals that we came to a figure that we need to bridge.
So is this coming from the staff audit exercise that you did?
Yes, please.
Well, Dr. Dominic, you've heard Professor Nunu. He says that, well, whatever you're asking for, they are doing it. Your response?
Okay. Now, he talks about the staff audits and then the migration, that they are doing the migration in line with our status of condition. Now, the question I have for him is that when the BEd program started in 2018, did they do any documental evidence before they started the program? From my check, it was not done. You see, so it's a matter of priority, it's a matter of urgency. As we speak now, in the colleges of education, we are supposed to have the same qualification like our counterpart in the university. We also run the same curriculum. As I speak to you, from my check, the College of Education in terms of qualification, in terms of production of MPhil holders and production of PhD holders, we have the highest. And how should somebody work so hard, complete a PhD program, and then at the end of the day, you make the person a tutor?
No, he talks. He talks about
the harmonized condition of service.
He talks
we
about
can go ahead and migration, and we can go ahead and then migrate them and give them the right nomenclature. Because what we have found is that names are very powerful and very important. And in fact, name comes before your financial strength or whatever comes in. So what we are saying is that with regard to this migration that is done, it's one of our strong points on which we are on strike. We are saying that they should use the right nomenclature that the staff audit report did for us. In actual fact, after the staff audit report, we are all rationalized and placed in line with our counterparts in the university. Those with MPhil were made assistant lecturer. But as I speak to you recently, GTEC issued a disclaimer and asked the principals to disassociate themselves with the staff audit. Why are they doing that? What is the rationale behind that? What is the reasons behind the issuing of disclaimers?
It's unfortunate.
Behind
Dr. Usu cannot hear me.
Staff.
Well, I'm grateful to you, Dr. Usu. Also, I'm grateful to you, Professor Francis Nuno, who's Deputy Director General of GTEC, and also to Dr. Clement Abbas Apak, Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee. Well, we'll wrap it here. Coming up next is Ghana Connect with Kweku Asante. Thanks to our sponsors, Telecel Connecting Energies and Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Yeah, Kweku?
Yeah.
So what's coming up today?
Well, the NDC did launch their manifesto this week. Big promises, not the actual manifesto, which they'll be launching, I think, 24th in the central region. The youth manifesto. It has some big promises. One that has been trending and getting the country talking. The promise to waive fees for level 100 students. It's got people talking. So tonight we have a pretty simple show. We have the NDC in studio.
Okay.
So if you are listening to us, you have any concerns about the youth manifesto and also the big manifesto itself, which will be launched on the 24th. Osman Ayariga is here to answer your questions.
Okay.
So the show today is more about the people.
Uh-huh.
They are going to join in young people from all over the place, and they are going to ask their questions to Osman Ayariga.
More like a people's forum.
Exactly. A
Ask
town
your
hall of a
questions.
sort, but right here in the Joy FM studio.
All right.
Grace.
Auntie T, I beg, fix me.